go onto a site, how far back do you cut something? On woodier plants, you should be able to kind of identify where that last cut zone was. Especially on like burning bushes, a lot of times where people really want them cut back hard because everybody thinks that they're dwarf burning bush, they're going to stay 3 by 3. They're not, they're huge. So everybody wants them cut back hard. If you look at it, you should be able to see a point where it hits and then there's a big tuft of growth from there. That's probably where that last trimming spot was, and you can feel comfortable going back to that spot or just outside that spot without damaging the plant. Remember, we can always take more off, we can't take off less. Yeah, we always take more off, we can't take off less.
Can't put it back.
Yeah, we can't put it back on. So, especially when you're first getting out, if you're first time trimming a few things, take a little bit off, see what it looks like, and then take some more off. Generally, the way I like to approach like the boxwoods is I get my edge, my outer edge set, and then I take my top off. Then I cut the top. So if you come around and get your edge set, then that can really give you an idea how much you can taper that top. As far as when you go onto a site, how far back do you cut something? On woodier plants, you should be able to kind of identify where that last cut zone was. Especially on like burning bushes, a lot of times where people really want them cut back hard because everybody thinks that they're dwarf burning bush, they're going to stay 3 by 3. They're not, they're huge. So everybody wants them cut back hard. If you look at it, you should be able to see a point where it hits and then there's a big tuft of growth from there. That's probably where that last trimming spot was, and you can feel comfortable going back to that spot or just outside that spot without damaging the plant.
Así que por favor, siempre que andan trimeando, que chequen más o menos, por ejemplo, las plantas que son de, por ejemplo, los pruning bushes, dicen que ahí se le ve el corte donde lo cortaron el año pasado. Los que les quieren chicos, y a veces pues uno no sabe y más llegan y empiezan a trimear y dicen, por favor, si no saben toquen los dientes, pregúntale qué tanto se los van a cortar. Okay?
Remember, we can always take more off, we can't take off less. Yeah, we always take more off, we can't take off less.
Can't put it back.
Yeah, we can't put it back on. So, especially when you're first getting out, if you're first time trimming a few things, take a little bit off, see what it looks like, and then take some more off. Generally, the way I like to approach like the boxwoods is I get my edge, my outer edge set, and then I take my top off. Then I cut the top. So if you come around and get your edge set, then that can really give you an idea how much you can taper that top.
Dice que por ejemplo uno de los tips que da para los backs dice que siempre le den alrededor primero por sacar que tan ancho puede ser y después le clavan por encima.
So as we're coming up on the top, we don't, to avoid that hard edge, it's just a nice smooth and we're just rounded. So it's just, you'll kind of get to the point where you'll get used to bringing that trimmer up and just kind of sloping it over the top. And just like I said, you can always take off more later. Suckers on trees. This is something we get questions on, complaints on a lot, because sometimes they get missed. A sucker is going to be any kind of growth that's coming off the trunk. These ones that go straight in the air, they're actually called water sprouts. They're not truly suckers, but they're a form of a sucker. Cleaning these out, especially on these pears, is going to help in the long run because all these are going to be fragile branches that are going to just create more area for the wind to catch it. It's one of the reasons we have a big problem with the pears, besides the crappy wood that they're made out of, is the fact that they grab so much wind because they're so dense. So we want to clean out suckers, especially at the base of trees. I don't have any right here that I can show you, but you'll see a bunch of there'll be real kind of bright green growth most of the time. And we want to cut that down to ground level. One thing we're never going to do if we want to take this branch and we want to bring it in, we're never going to cut it in the middle of a branch. We're going to take that back to the next lateral branch. So if I wanted to take this limb and I just want, say I really just wanted this part off, well that's really, it's not an option kind of. I can come back to this little vertical branch right here. But truthfully, the best thing to do is to take it all the way back to the next major branch. We're taking that back to the branch. If you guys come up here and look closely, on all trees, on every tree, there's going to be what they call the branch bark collar or ridge. Depends on who you talk to on that one. But it's a swollen area just outside where the branch connects. And hey, stop digging that up. Swollen area just outside where the branch connects. And you want to be right outside that swollen area. If you cut into the swollen area, the tree will not heal as fast. When we're raising limbs, we're looking at this for like the mowers or walking through the path. So we just want to raise it the height that we can to go underneath it with a mower or to walk through the sidewalk. We also want to make sure things are balanced. If we raise one side up 6 feet for the mowers, but we don't want the other side hanging down 3 feet off the ground. So we want to make it balanced. Well, Kelly has done a great job about getting communication to our customers about what they want from their trimming. So when you go out on trimming, probably it's always important to read your notes, but trimming and pruning is probably the one thing where you gotta read your notes. Go all the way into it. Just don't read that little blurb that's on the main screen. Click on that. Go all the way in because you could have a page worth of notes. And they'll tell you, the people that, like I said, Kelly's communicating with these people. We're getting really good feedback back. Hey, I want this cut to 3 feet. I want this taken off the house. So make sure you use those because she's put a lot of time into developing those for us. All right, last couple of things, especially with roses, we need to clean our tools afterwards. There's a disease going around that will infect other roses very quickly if we prune with them. Generally, we're gonna get you guys a cleaning spray, and I'd like to see you guys kind of clean after you switch plants. So, and it's real quick. It's it's like Lysol. It's just one quick spray. It's gonna kill all those viruses and germs, bacteria, and then you're good there. Okay. And my last thing is gonna be a safety note with this, guys. Those blades will run. Sometimes they will run with your finger not on the trigger. If something gets bound up in your trimmer blades, cut the machine completely off, remove the stuff, then fire the machine back up. Also, these little hand saws. Looks innocent enough. I don't know how many people I've seen put their hand here as they're cutting something, they pull back hard, and rip that thing all the way across their arm. I've seen it at every place I've worked multiple times. Keep your hands free and clear of anything that you're cutting with.
All it takes is one little, I got 5 stitches in my thumb right here for one of those saws. And it was just a 1 second tap. So
yeah, they're sharp.
They cut very fast.
The other thing I guess a lot of you guys probably don't know is this saw only works on the pull. So if you're spending a lot of energy pushing back, you're wasting your energy. Only works on the pull. That actually made me think though, there's one more tip I want to give you guys. If you're trying to take off a heavy branch, you want to take some weight off the end before you come in here, because you can risk, if you take this right here with a heavy branch, you'll take that bark and rip it down the tree. Alright, so my quote is that if you teach a man to fish, feed himself for a day, I messed it up. If you give a man a fish, he can eat for a day. You teach a man to fish, he can eat for life. So, does anybody know our mission statement off the top of their head in English? Callie?
Dowco is the provider of top quality professional services for those who want the best.
In Espanol?
Dowco es un proveedor de servicios de alta calidad para quienes desean lo mejor.
All right, thank you guys.